Kicking it with KeKe. Kicking it with KeKe. Kicking it with KeKe. Full of personality. Switching up the storyline on God, we making history.
Writing books, changing lives, one day at a time. Put your problems to the side. Enjoy yourself. Free your mind.
Kicking it with KeKe.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Kicking It with KeKe, Life, Love, and all that other shit. I am your girl, KeKe Chanel, award-winning author, lifestyle blogger, certified life coach, and host of Kicking It with KeKe. You know, we all about the self-development, personal development, mindset, and things for the podcast. So today's guest is all about that big energy. And y'all know how I do. I like to give my guests the opportunity to introduce themselves. So I'm gonna turn it over to him. He gonna tell y'all who he is and what he do. What's up?
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for coming to kick it with me.
No problem at all. It's an honor. I thank you for opening up your platform for me to come and share my thoughts with the world.
Absolutely.
So
Anytime. You know, you ain't new to this. You new to this platform, but you ain't new to being on Kicking It with KeKe. So I appreciate you wanting to come back to kick it with me for another time. And
Absolutely.
before we get into our conversation, which is going to be fire, tell the people who you are, man.
Well, I'm King Walker. I am a motivator. I'm a life coach, and I'm a friend that likes to hold people accountable. Not necessarily in a negative sense, but I want you to understand who you are.
Right.
I want you to appreciate your mindset, the skin that you're in, who you're becoming, and your why reason of who you're becoming, right? So my mission in life is basically to get people to understand that you're worth it. My mission in life is to get people to understand that no matter what like trials and tribulations that you go through, like it's part of your journey. Because when you get to your finish line, you're gonna be proud of the things that you had to go through to weather your storm. At a certain point, you're gonna have to understand how to not just go through the storm, but become it.
Oh,
right. So, yeah. So, there are a lot of times, that's what I just want to remind people of. That is me as a motivator and as a life coach to just open people's mindset to want to see themselves. There are a lot of people who don't want to see themselves. Like a lot of people read a lot of books on how they can better themselves, how they can better love themselves. And it's okay to read the literature until you get to that chapter that's about you.
Right.
Right. You're looking at it in a mirror to really like dissect who you are and understand your shortcomings, which can ultimately change and grow and blossom to be something different than where they're at right now. But if you never confront them and fight them back, and the reason why I say fight them back, because self-sabotage is real. And a lot of times people can be what I like to say, a bad salesman to themselves.
Oh.
So you'll sell yourself short of everything great that you know you can accomplish. You'll sell yourself short, like you'll tell us we have to learn how to be able to like accept a compliment. If someone tells you you're handsome or you're beautiful, thank you. That's it. Oh no, not me. Not me. It's you. Like just take the it's okay that you no longer have to hide who you are.
Right.
It's okay that you no longer look over your shoulder because you've been having trust issues. Like sometimes I just want to get people in the mindset of stop feeling comfortable in your trauma, using it as a blanket, as a safety net, right? You trap yourself in, you lock yourself in this house, right? This mental house. So when I say that, once again, my mission is to also to get people out of their mental prison, because you're not only locked up, they're not only people locked up behind bars, there are a lot of people locked up in their mental prison. And so if you stay there, you will continue to do that time until you learn how to free yourself, which is getting out of your own way.
Listen, This man just dropped so many gems in his introduction, y'all. So you already know this conversation about to be fire. But I'm glad that you say like the mental prison, because as a life coach myself, certified in mindset and personal growth, that's my tagline. I help people unpack their mental baggage to create a new mindset through positive personal growth. That's what I do.
Right.
So, oh yeah, we already on the same page. We already on the same page. But before we get into today's topic, and we're talking about mental health and, you know, being vulnerable with yourself, I like to ask all of my guests, because this is all about personal development, the overall theme for the podcast. What does personal development mean for you, King Walker?
Personal development for me is being able to look further into myself than just skin deep. Like I can always want to fix the, you know, the external me, but what I want to do about the inside, right? So it's more important to me. That's what the personal growth is for me. I want to be able to walk in a room and not have to feel like I'm worried about being alone, even though it's a room full of people. I want to be able to be in there with my chest out, my shoulders out, because I feel like I deserve to be here.
Right.
You know, that's the major thing for me when it comes to growth. That's growth for me, is being okay to be in the shell of who I am, regardless of the weight, your mindset, right? My favorite thing I like to tell people, and I'm gonna keep saying it till everybody remembers it: your mentality determines your reality, right? How you see it in your mindset is how you're gonna see it in your vision. How you see it in your vision is how you're gonna manifest it out your mouth. And there are a lot of things that people, when they talk about manifesting it and they're speaking things into existence, but what are you doing actively to actually walk into the things that you're manifesting for?
Right. How are you cultivating that?
Exactly. You know, it's easy to want so much, but then not do the work. That's why I think it's very important for everyone as an individual, whatever it is your journey is in life, to find your base. Base, something to grow from, something to launch you off to where you're trying to go. You have to start you somewhere. You don't have to try to battle everything at once. I know life can make you feel like that, like you got to put on this backpack of all your emotions and going through your mental health and dealing with family trauma and so on and so forth. But you got to take time out, loosen those straps, you know, to relax your shoulders a little bit so you can go further. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of these problems that we carry in that backpack sometimes are just something that we created in our head.
Self-inflicted.
And that's self-inflicted, which is hard, once again, which is hard to hear, because some people be like, well, I don't want to be like this. And I tell people who say that, I'm like, I'm proud of you. I tell you, I'm proud of you, because it takes true strength to be able to admit to yourself that it's something that you don't want. To say it out loud is true strength. It's one thing to, you know, to say it in your head, to say it to yourself, but to say it out loud, I want a person to know how powerful that was, that you just said that.
Right.
So now that you know that you don't want this no more, what are you going to do to not have to deal with this no more, or get better at with dealing with it?
Yeah. And that personal development makes you do some self-inventory and self-discovery. Because you may look in the mirror and not recognize who you are, thinking that you're the same person that you were 5 years ago, and you've grown, you've outgrown that person. But you can be around people that don't see the growth, because they're so stuck in their stuff.
Absolutely.
Self-absorbed, being self-absorbed.
Right. Absolutely. Self-absorbed. And that's one of the scariest things I tell people to do, is being able to look in your internal mirror. And I talk about the internal mirror a lot, because it's easy for people to point fingers at people, but not look at the three that's pointing back at them. So, you know, everybody has an opinion about different things going on in the world and what should change, why, and this, and relationships. But what are you doing with that relationship with yourself? Are you changing yourself? Because changing yourself is going to help the relationships of us as individuals together. You see? If I'm just pointing fingers telling everybody else just to be better, to be this, but I'm not making any changes, I'm gonna be the one to mess it up, because I'm not I'm not trying to be part of the change. You know, I'm being part of the problems. I'm not trying to change.
And then people gonna look at you like you're a hypocrite.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right.
Yeah, they're gonna be
Right.
like, what is King telling us to he telling us to do all this work, but what is he doing?
And you can also be a hypocrite to yourself.
Oh, talk about it. Talk about that, because tell listeners what that means. Like, define that for people that don't know or can't hear in the back what that means.
Yeah. To where you can feed yourself some advice that you know what you need to do. You know how you should move, but yet you make that other decision, and then you're disappointed about the consequences of it. But I'm like, you knew what it was.
Mm-hmm.
You self-sabotage yourself in a situation.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, most importantly, this is what happens that people don't talk about a lot, is you're getting ready to get into something that you know is not necessarily a life-changing moment for you. It is something that's going to be damaging to your spirit and to your mindset and to your flesh and all those things. And instead of talking yourself down from that, you'll tell yourself why you deserve to go through this hurt,
Right.
why you deserve to go through this pain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the mindset I want to reverse. Like, you don't deserve to go through no pain.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, life events is going to happen naturally because of whatever God got planned for you. That's a different story. That's beyond my control.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But the things that you can control, that's in front of you, that you can take care of while you trying to get your blessing to get to you, while you wait on your blessing to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that you have to be in control of, to not like just go against yourself, go against what you know doesn't feel right.
Right.
You know,
use that discernment, that intuition is there for a reason, man.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody doesn't have that.
No.
Some of these things that people have as individuals, it's a gift. But I want people that's listening right now to know that individuals, each and every one of you are gifted in a different way.
Yeah.
You have something that I don't have. I have something that you don't have. But that doesn't mean I'm better than you. That doesn't mean like I don't deserve to treat you with respect.
Right.
If anything, we need to find out if our superpowers complement each other, so we can go save some more people. We can go do some positive things together.
Let's team, like get this team together, right?
Absolutely. But you know, most people want to be eagles when it comes to flying high. You know, they don't, because I get understanding that you feel like you've been alone. You did everything by yourself. You want to get it out of the mud. You want to say it was all me. But I'm here to tell you, if you survive this far in life, wherever you at, I don't care if you're a teenager, grown, there was not one set of footprints in that sand when you stepped. There was 4.
Facts.
You've been covered and you didn't even realize it because you was too busy complaining about what's in front of you. You never felt the energy that's been carrying you through these things.
The whole time.
Even when you cried, even when you didn't want to work that job you didn't want to work, right? You know, I tell people all the time, like, it's a blessing to wake up to know that you wasn't a candle today. You know what I mean by that? Yeah, like you really just missed that shooting, that you was just right there. You was hanging with your buddy. Like, this is why I don't wake up and be upset or complain. This is why I don't wake up and say, let me get to the money. No, I'm thankful for another day.
Oh, I just told somebody, see, I got goosebumps, man. I just told somebody that you have to be thankful. And I got this from you. So I gave you credit twice. Now it's mine. Like, you have to have that attitude of gratitude. Yeah. The first time I saw you on somebody's live, I don't even know whose live you were on, but I heard you say that. I was like, that is so good. And you have to, because it teaches discipline. And it also lets God know and see that you are grateful for your blessings. So he can continue to pour into you so you can pour into others. But the thing is, a lot of us don't want to pour into others because we don't know how to pour into ourselves. And let's get into this mental health, because I love to talk about mental health because people don't like to talk about it. It's a stigma.
Mental health comes in many different forms, right? A lot of people don't like to talk about mental health, in my opinion, because some people think that it means that you're down on your luck. You're not always feeling 100%. Depression, anxiety is like where it stops. And I'm like, no, it's not. You can be dealing with your mental health, going through a bad spell in life to where you always at work.
Mm-hmm.
You always at work because you don't want to have to think and deal with you.
Listen,
right?
don't make me run through my house.
You know what I mean? You always at work because you don't want to have to deal with you.
You don't want to deal with life.
If it's not just being at work, it's some people bury themselves in their exercise.
Uh-huh.
Some people bury themselves in just being in the room at home, not taking no invites to go out, you know, and they just what they call it, a homebody. You know, I just rather be inside. Okay, no problem. So a lot of people don't even realize that they're even dealing with anything, or if they do recognize that they're dealing with something, they don't want to confront it. Since we're gonna be honest, I like to be honest.
Yeah.
There was a point in my life to where like I wasn't drinking just because, you know, I wanted to just enjoy the vibe and this music, and I've just had a long week, you know. It's gonna be funny, but it's serious. Like there was a point I was drinking on any day that ended with a Y, right? So
yeah, I got it.
Right. So, you know, but I had to say to myself, like I told myself, I said, listen, we're not taking no more drinks if it's not for celebration or I just really want to relax. We're not going to drink when we don't like ourselves that much today.
Right.
We're not going to drink when we feel like I feel like I failed today. Right. And I was going to say this, but I'm going to tell you this now, how I feel about fail. Fail only has a negative context if you let it. Because fail to me means first attempt in learning, right? So, and a lot of people have failed their way to the top, failed their way in from being a rookie to a pro. And I want people to learn not to take your fail personal.
Yeah.
Like learn something from it.
Yes.
You learned from the last time because when you get back on it again, there's going to be about 3 different things that you know not to do this time based off the fail.
Exactly.
Get better with this. And that's why when I'm teaching something to someone, I'm very patient and I'm very understanding, because we know to fail can be embarrassing, especially if you're grown.
Right.
Because I'm here to tell everybody again that's listening, just because you're grown doesn't mean you're not going to fail again. That's going to happen, but it's okay. It's not nothing to be embarrassed about. Just because you're grown, you don't always have all the answers. I understand sometimes you're making some of the stuff up as you go along. I understand. I've been there and I'm there.
I've been there and I'm there. Somebody gonna catch that tomorrow. I've been there and I'm there.
And I'm there because I want to be transparent. You know, I'm not the person that's, you know, just want to talk to you as if like I'm always 100%. I want to talk to you even when I'm not 100%, because I want to show you how to handle it even when you're not 100%.
I love that.
Right. So, you know, because I don't want to paint the picture of that you're only at your best, like when you're fully strong. You can be at the halfway point and still be at your best.
Right.
You know, and to me, being at your best is still giving it what you got, whatever you got left in the tank in that moment. As long as you're putting all that forward, then at least you know you've emptied out exactly what you had. You pushed yourself to the limit. You didn't just say, well, you know, I'm at a 10 today, I'm at a 5. So
but you have to, but we have to, in those moments, we have to know to give ourselves grace. We have to give ourselves enough grace to say, no, I'm not at a 10. I might be at a 5, but I'm doing it.
Absolutely.
Because some people are at zeros, and that ain't because of choice. It's because they're just no longer here. So I'd rather take that 5 over that 10 than be a 0 and not even be here. So
absolutely.
And
Well,
I don't deal in excuses. Like, I hate when people make excuses. Like, what's the resolution? How can we get past this?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What is it? Like, I try to explain to people sometimes, like, do not like be disrespectful to your blessings just because it didn't come in the way that you want it.
Oh,
Right?
listen,
Right.
do not
Yeah.
be disrespectful to your blessings just because they didn't come in the way that you wanted them to.
Yeah.
That's a whole word, man.
Yeah. It's a fact, because we're so quick to want to upgrade things, but we was just happy for that one particular thing that we've been asking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you get it, learn everything about it, drain it, you use it until it's time for you to receive your next blessing to upgrade.
Right.
This is tough. Sometimes the upgrade doesn't come because you haven't appreciated what's been given to you already.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it keeps you stuck in that place because you won't appreciate what you have. So there's no room to elevate you because you can't appreciate what I'm giving you right now.
You can't appreciate it. And and see, that's a good segue into the difference between mental health and mental illness.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't know that there's a difference. We all have mental health. We all don't have mental illness. Now,
Facts.
neglecting our mental health can turn into mental illness. Let's talk
Right.
about that. Like, because some people need clarity. Growing up in the Black household, we just didn't deal with mental. We didn't talk about it. We all have that relative that was a little slow or touched, as they called it. Don't mess with him. He crazy. He ain't wrapped too tight. You know the saying. So just speak a little bit to the audience about the difference between mental health and mental illness.
I'm going to tell you that first things first, in order to see people, you have to stop being selfish.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times people go around and we're only in our heads thinking about our peace and focus on how we gonna move. But if you take a step back and be able to see yourself in what's around you and be patient, be patient, you will be able to see that sometimes, like, it's not that this person don't get it, it's they can't help it and they need help. So you talking to them or screaming at them, that's not help get the point across
at all.
They really need real help, And what people don't understand is just because you feel regular, not everybody else feels regular.
Not everybody feels regular, and then your days where you're not feeling regular will come. Keep living. It's gonna happen. And don't put yourself as a hypocrite, because people that you made to feel less than or weak or unworthy, they remember that. I know I do. Like, I would rather get hit than have words, because words stick. I don't know why I hold on to stuff. And I do that. My mama said I've been doing that since I was a little girl. She'll tell me something, and then months later I bring it up to her, and she's like, I thought you forgot about it. Like, as a little girl, like, I hold on to words. Like, I don't know why. And I need to work through that, though, because words actually hurt me a lot.
Here's the thing. I'm very good at conversation recall when it comes to words. So I understand where you're coming from. But the difference with me is my blessing to me, I'm not just black or white. I have a gray area. So there's a filter there. So things for me that really don't belong, that's not necessarily healthy to my mindset, I don't deal with it.
Me either.
I don't retain it. I don't retain it. Like, I'll remember because it's just my gift to remember. But I won't recite it if it didn't bring me peace. You know what I mean? If I won't recite, you know what I mean? I wouldn't recite it if it didn't bring me peace. And I think that's a very important thing. It's one of those things of understanding the priority of self when it comes to being able to let go of, like, certain affirmations that are being said to you, and you sit on them and you overthink them and you dissect them, and before you know it, you're in the black hole of this thought.
Yeah.
And it might in that deep.
And
You know?
see, sometimes for me it wasn't that deep, but I
Right.
hold on to the way that they made me feel.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I need to work through that, like for real. And I'm getting better because I was like, okay, you said
Yeah.
this, but why would you say that? Like, I'm not this person. I don't even do that, but why would you even say that? And I'm like, I have to realize that it might not even be about you, but I hold on to it.
I've been in many situations to where I've heard the conversation, but I've automatically took myself mentally out of the equation.
Mhm.
Because there's a thing that happens to people. It's a beautiful thing when you start to learn who you are
Mhm.
and you know your character. And if you believe in all positivity of your mindset, your flesh, and your spirit, and you know you try to be as honest and upfront and a good friend or good family member,
Mhm.
that's for real.
Mhm.
Because not everybody is going to agree with you even being a good person.
Right.
You know, like it's okay to be a good person, but like don't spend time trying to prove it. Don't
Yes.
don't sit on time. Don't sit on all that time trying to figure out why this person said this to me or said that way. Because I'm here to tell everyone listening again. A lot of times people aren't talking directly to you, they're talking to their trauma. It just came out towards you.
Mm.
A lot of
Mm.
times people are speaking from a place of hurt.
Mm.
Someone hurt them, so now it's their time to hurt somebody else.
Right. Hurt people hurt people.
Say this. They felt like it was a good moment to say this because they remember sometimes somebody thought it was a good moment to say that to
Said to
them.
them. Mm. Got it. Oh my God. Like that was a big like light bulb moment for me. Cause I just had this conversation with my daughter. Like I just had this conversation with my daughter and we were talking about you don't owe people anything and when it comes
No,
to your peace.
no,
And if you don't like the way that they're making you feel, sometimes you got to analyze the relationship.
absolutely.
And if you're not getting what you're giving, then what's the point? Now, if you have people in your life that's just like fall off or they don't know how to come at you or whatever, then the
Mhm.
conversation might need to be had and it's something deep that y'all need to talk about.
Right.
But you know that you're not going to be met with that same type of energy. What's the point?
Let me see if I remember this because this is very important. I say a lot. You got to stop allowing people to take deposits out of your energy bank who's not going to deposit nothing in. Right? There are a lot of people draining your energy bank, leaving it overdraft with receipts of things that they didn't return to you. Right?
Whew.
So that's what has to happen. You're
Mm,
allowing people to come make so many withdrawals out of your energy. And because a lot of people want to prove that they're a good person, they're solid, that they have a heart, that they love, I I want you to know you still have to protect your heart.
yeah.
You have to protect your energy because not a lot of people have your best interest in hand when they're pretending to be your friend or your family member.
Hmm.
Because there are a lot of people who become your family who are not your family,
Right.
right? They become your family more than your family, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. It's like
Because everybody shares your blood doesn't mean that they have your spirit,
you have
right?
relatives. Like just because we're related with DNA does not mean that we are
Right.
family. Like for real. I'm so serious about that because I have family that I've recently met
Mhm.
and I have relatives that I've known all my life and don't
Right.
have no relationship with.
Right.
And I'm
Uh-huh.
good with that. Like for real. Because I'm only going to try a certain amount of times before I just wipe my hand with it.
There you go.
And my cutoff game is so sick. I have to look at myself like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, you really just don't care like that? No,
Mhm.
they don't care about
And,
me.
and that's the most important thing you have to understand is like friends, family, or somebody that's trying to pursue, a relationship interest with you, if they can go days without talking to you, then there's no real chemistry there. I don't, this is my opinion. You can tell me how busy you are a million times. But one thing I know about anybody, us as people, nobody really wants to be alone.
Hmm.
Even if you didn't paint a picture that you talk to, that is still a friend that you have in your presence. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like nobody just wants to just be alone. So I understand when you take your relationship away from people, take your energy away from people, take your attention away from people, take away you sending the first text away from people, you start to understand how people really feel about you, is what I'm saying.
I just did that. Like, I just did that. Like,
Yeah.
so sick. Like last month, I did that because I was so overwhelmed with everybody else's stuff. Like, I only hear from you when you want to vent.
Because people don't really miss you. They just miss you checking up on them. That's the selfishness I'm talking about. Yeah.
But
They
to their defense, after a certain amount of days, they was checking in. Like, you good? Like, hey, I miss you. Like, where you been? Like, I ain't heard from you.
Started to make them respect your presence.
Right.
You start to make them respect your presence. A lot of people don't. That's why, you know, we have relationships where they be like, where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong? Like, because things ain't right. You don't realize how much that
Where did we go wrong? Because things ain't right. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
The way things, you know, because they didn't, you know, your lunch ain't packed no more. You know, you don't realize how much that person was keeping you in rhythm. You didn't understand that. Now that that rhythm ain't there no more and something fell off, I was like, yeah, that's that person that you let fall off.
You
You
Let
know,
me ask you this question though. When you have somebody in your life that you're used to having in your life and it's a constant, and then all of a sudden that inconsistency start, and then you met with those excuses, well, I was busy, or my bad, or whatever. What can you say to someone who's dealing with that and too afraid to just let it go or see it for what it is?
the person who hear the excuses but still don't want to let it go? I would say to anyone going through that, you haven't got a chance to feel the energy of what it feels like to feel like a priority. Once you get the energy of knowing what it feels like to feel like a priority, you won't just deal with the previews of it, a little taste of it. You see?
Yeah.
But that's what happens. You know, you're with somebody where they know it's the most attention this person has ever got. They're not gonna go nowhere, because who's gonna call you? I know you don't talk to nobody. This is the real stuff. This is why I tell people I understand having to protect your energy, because there are real people who look at individuals and go, I know exactly what I can say. Exactly what state you're in right now. And you're gonna come into that, and I got you. Because no one's gonna love you like I love you. No one's gonna treat you like I treat you. Look at you. Who's gonna want you like I want you? Abuse comes in different forms.
Yep. And it's not just physical.
It's not just physical, you know. So that can be like a mental abuse thing, to where that person's really believing like, you know what, I'm tripping. They busy. Let me stop complaining and let them. You don't deserve that. You deserve someone, even in their busiest time, to call you and tell you, hey, I know I'm busy, but we're gonna make some plans, figure something out. I know I've been everywhere, but I haven't forgot about you. And that's, once again, that's friend, relationship, or family. There's, like I said, there's no reason of excuse to be busy to where a person say, I'm just caught up in my work or caught up in some things. You're not on the priority list.
Yep. And people that tell you that they're too busy for you. No, they're just too busy for you.
They're too busy for you. They're not too busy. They're too busy. They're only too busy for you.
For you. Yep.
It hurts sometimes, but sometimes you have the answer sitting right in your gut, right in your gut.
You know.
But it hurts.
It hurts.
Something for what it is. People rather keep painting the colorful picture and living in that moment of what once was. That's why a lot of situations are damaged, in my opinion. And we go back. I said we, because I've been there.
Me too.
We go back to damaged situations because we only think about how good it was.
Right.
We go back to situations because we only think about the solitary that we're in. Like, I cut this person off, but now I don't have nobody. You do have somebody. You have your peace.
Yes.
You have your mindset.
Yes.
You have energy not being disrespected. You don't have to go through that in order to be happy.
That is not happiness.
Nobody
is,
needs to drain you.
and that's
To,
toxic. It's so
yeah,
toxic.
no one needs to drain you in order to be happy.
Right.
And a lot of people sometimes feel like that's love. Listen, I understand you're going to agree to disagree. I understand we're not going to always see eye to eye on things. That comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
But what you don't deserve is for somebody to make you feel small, put
Right.
you under, belittle you with their words, make you feel like they put you in that mental prison.
Mm.
Now you feel like you can't leave this person. That's why when people leave someone that's been very toxic to their life, what happens? Everything starts going.
Yeah.
We graduating, a new car, new money,
New
walking.
job position, like a promotion on your job.
Exactly.
Yes, doors start to open.
Exactly. And when you get back, and then when you decide to go back with that person, a couple of things start fading away. Like, hey, where'd a couple of my blessings go? I have 5 of them here, only got 3. Because you're going back to a place that
Ain't no growth there, no prosperity. It's dry land. That's the desert.
there's no growth there.
Right.
There are a lot of people in places where there's no growth there.
Growth there. Okay, so that's a good segue into mental health and relationships. Like setting healthy boundaries. You have to do that in order to protect your mental health. Speak to the listeners who know that, but they just turning a blind eye to it. They know that certain situations, places, and things are damaging to their mental health, but they just won't let it go.
Once again, you don't believe that you deserve better.
Mm.
You don't believe that you deserve better than what you're getting, right? So, like, I always say, the same day you plant the seed is not the same day you get the fruits of your labor.
Woo.
Right?
Mm.
So a lot of times people are looking for love, but not inside of themselves first.
Right.
Right?
God.
So if you don't plant that seed inside of you and grow you and be patient with you and understanding who you are, then you're going to always be at the begging call of someone else's love anchor that's going to carry you and pick you up and love you the way that they want to love you and not the love that you deserve.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. So when I talk about loving yourself, you have to learn how to love yourself unconditionally so no one can come in and love you with conditions. Okay? Like, so that's the situation.
Time out, sidebar, and all that good stuff, man.
Okay.
Say that again, man.
You have to learn to love yourself unconditionally so no one can come in and love you with conditions. So that's why you keep going back, because you haven't fully grown
I'm about
into
to
the
drop
love.
this mic on you.
You haven't fully grown into the love for yourself yet.
Yes,
you know?
absolutely.
Once you fully grown to the love for yourself, you won't allow people to treat you like that. You know?
And you have to realize that not everybody is for you, and you outgrow people, places, and things. And if they're not serving you in your growth and in your elevation, it's time to let those people stay where they at.
Exactly.
And until they get that mentality that they want to come and feel the sunshine over here, because your light is growing and it's glowing.
Exactly.
You can't force it. You can't.
Yeah, you can't force it. And that's what I'm big on. I don't force anything. You know, I want to say this because I've always said this in private. I want to say it in public. There's been a lot of women that I wanted to like get to know throughout my lifetime. But the main thing that's important for me when I want to get to know a woman is I want to know if we can spend time. I don't want to spend money first. I want to spend time. Because money is always going to be there. I'm not going to get my time back.
Right.
So I need to understand you more as a person. I want you to understand me more as a person. So I think that's one of the biggest things for me when it comes to like, you know, relationship for me. I want to be able to have that conversation with you. I want to pick your brain. I want you to pick my brain, study me like how I'm studying you. That way we have a better understanding of what it is and what we want. That way, if we do decide to go out and eat, I already know you put your elbows on the table. We talked about this. you know what I mean? I don't want to go out on a whole excursion, a whole date, and I'm like, boy, I can't wait till this is over.
Right, absolutely.
I ain't know she was smacking and burping and ordering everything on the menu.
Not the smacking and burping, but yeah, that happens though.
You know what I'm saying? So, I think that's important. I would encourage people, to anybody dating, just learn how to spend more time. And I've learned this as a man. And the reason why I'm saying as a man, because there's a lot of conversation time that men are vulnerable and honest. And I'm being vulnerable and honest. I'm learned as a man to like not give myself away so much.
Yes.
Every woman doesn't deserve a piece of me or who I am.
Listen, talk about it, because we don't talk about that enough.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it enough. And it's always looked at as, oh, he'll simp.
Right. Which me personally, I care nothing about. Simp is too close to simply just protecting my peace and honoring who I am. But don't worry.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's me. I think if she's up for it, here's a few of my thought process on like first dates. I think both is a good one because you can still have conversations, take your turn and bowl. We can still talk and get to know each other. We go to the movie theater, we just sit in there.
Sit in there in the dark. Can't even see each other.
Right. So I think bowling, if you're up for it physically, I think going for a hike or a walk is a good, first date. Everybody knows coffee somehow works out for people going out for Starbucks, sitting there. Those little things make a difference before finding out if you want to hang out more, or go further.
Especially with that bowling though, because you could find out if she competitive to the fact that she want to kill you if you win.
Talk about it. You done threw a couple of strikes. You like, yeah, go on, baby. It's your turn. She's like, babe, I ain't no babe. You 3 strikes. Oh.
Hold up, I'm about to get, yes, absolutely. Yes. So like, okay, I see that she's a sore loser.
Right. Listen, in real life, I've dealt with that before. I've been in a relationship with a woman that was competitive, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good because it's like, okay, we were competitive here, but we don't take this home.
Right.
You're really mad that you lost to me.
Like she was big mad.
The love of your life. Like I thought we were just having a little
friendly competition. Yeah.
You really want to beat me. Like
she want to beat you.
Yeah, you really want to beat me. Like, come on now. I've seen that movie before. I try to be, cute about it. Like, oh. Sometimes I even play the game of let the woman win. And it's like, oh, you get to talking big. I'm like, oh, once again, I thought we was being cute.
Okay, well, let's play again. I'm not taking out. Let's play again.
Right, you're not my girl right now.
Right, you somebody off the street. You're an op right now.
Right here. But yeah, those are my suggestions for people, trying to date someone. Get right with yourself, protect your peace, and learn to love yourself unconditionally so no one can just love you with conditions. And that is so, so important. It's so undervalued when I say that, when we talk about loving yourself unconditionally. It doesn't mean that you have to have like a pompous attitude, got your chin up in the air and feel like no one can talk to you. You just get a better understanding of knowing what you're not about to deal with. Whatever boundary is for you. Because everybody's boundary is different.
You gotta have them you gotta have them healthy boundaries, and you have to keep those in place for yourself too, because if you start, okay, well, I have this one, but I don't enforce it over here with this person, but then I try to enforce it with this person, it's not gonna work. You got to be consistent with yourself and with the things that are important for you.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise your mental health and your self-love and all that stuff is going to get tainted in some way.
Absolutely. 200%. I've had moments to where I had to remind myself that I am enough. And once again, I say this again as a man. So all of the fellas listening out there, like, it's okay to be vulnerable. You can make vulnerability your strength.
Yes.
You're weak to be honest about how you feel and where you stand, because one thing's for sure, to all the fellas that's listening out there, A woman got to look at you twice when you're vulnerable and honest. She know you didn't come to play games. Now she don't have to guess how you feel and where you're coming from because you said it. I like you. I love you. I miss you. You know. So now we have a better understanding. So now, you know, I'm not out here playing.
Right.
And I said, yeah. So there's nothing wrong with being
But
vulnerable.
I've heard where people could just say anything. I'm an action person.
So what has to happen is, we all talked about this for sure, is that, of course, you want to make sure the actions add up to a person's verbiage. 200%. You want to make sure a person's, you know, adds up to what they say. But I'm just talking about because the vulnerability of it, because sometimes it's never even said. You might not always be able to do something about it after it's been said, and then you have to wait for the actions to add up. But at least at some point it's been said. At least for the woman or for the woman or the man, you can put that in your memory bank. And if things tend to not shift into what they were talking about, you can honestly walk away because you know what? I took your word. So being that you couldn't keep up to your word, why am I here?
Yes.
And so that's how I feel about being vulnerable, to where if I leave, I'm like, well, I didn't know you liked me. I did. I was doing the Ray J in the rain and all of that. Like, what was... I showed you.
Yeah, I showed you.
I showed you. You know, I was out here embarrassing myself. Like, hello. Huh? Hey, listen, I'm a man. I share my wing with you. Okay? Share my wings with you. You know we don't, huh? It was 11 on the, it was 12 on the plate. I gave you one that left me with 11. You know how that made me feel? That's how I knew I was really feeling you.
Especially if it was a flat.
Yeah, you understand? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I'll let you take the wing, not the fry. Stop playing with me. You gonna ask me, am I answer you? What are you talking about?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you know.
I mean, but 9 times out of 10, you gotta ask. Something is not being portrayed.
Literally, you shouldn't have. That's what I'm talking about. You shouldn't have to chase for that the person's word. What they told you, you shouldn't have to chase for that. You shouldn't have to chase for that. If you find yourself chasing for that, it's important that you let that person know, I think I'm going to remove myself. Out of you're not adding up to none of the stuff that you said to me.
Right.
And it's okay to say that to that person, to let them know. Because now at that point, it's either up to you to let them say, I'm gonna do better, or you can walk away from it knowing that they probably not gonna keep their word.
Right.
Give yourself a chance, because that's important too. Don't sit on it too long waiting for things to change, because not me or you, not my readers, at least not to my knowledge. Somebody might be a my reader out there.
Yeah, like I don't think I would want that gift anyway.
Right. I just want people to be more verbal, respectfully, because that's very important too. Communication, just because you're being honest doesn't mean you have to be disrespectful.
Right. It's all about the delivery.
Right. Right. You also have to be, and someone that tells you that they love you unconditionally doesn't mean like it's a pass for like disrespect. It's not a pass for disrespect. You're still a person who has feelings, and regardless of what I'm about to tell you, I still want to tell you with some type of comfort.
Right.
People like to think, well, I'm just being 100. I'm just being honest. Like, yeah, it's one thing to be honest. It's one thing to just try to crush somebody's spirit. I do believe there's definitely power in the tongue and to the things that you speak. Yep. And what you say to a person can either make them feel better or damage them for the rest of their life.
Absolutely. And if they like KeKe, they're going to hold on to the words.
And hold on to the words. And when people have to hold on to things, that's what's bad for the next person, male or female. Now a male or female has to come in and deal with this baggage, and you have to be patient with that person, because they're like, I know you're a good person. I know, but I can't put these other bags down, because last time I put my bags down and tried to get comfortable, I had to pick them back up.
Right. And they heavy.
And they right. So, so it's hard for sometimes, I know it's hard sometimes for people to stay in some people's presence without being triggered or having a flashback, which brings me to the situation of first time hanging out with somebody, like I said, friend or relationship or family member, because you might have met a distant cousin you ain't talked to in a while. It's good to understand people's triggers, understand people's love language, and to understand if those first two things even complement each other.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Because how you love me may be different on how I love you. And once you recognize that, that this is the way I show my love. So if that changes, now I'm moving different.
Right. Absolutely.
You
And
know?
it happens. And
Right.
then they looking at you like you crazy.
Right.
The routine just switched.
The routine.
Like
routine switch.
Yes, the routine switch, and that goes to being more vulnerable with your self-love. Like you have to love yourself enough so that you can see or recognize the people who are not loving you the way that you deserve to be loved.
Absolutely. But that starts with being able to see you first.
Seeing you first.
Yeah, because if what I'm saying, because like if you don't see you, then you don't see yourself still being able to be an individual without this person. I get being in love. I get feeling so attached and drawn to it and feeling like a soulmate. Disrespect is disrespect.
Disrespect is just not tolerated, man.
Yeah, somebody trying to do harm to you or somebody trying to do harm to you. To the male and the females out there, I think it's important to understand, like, you don't deserve abuse.
In
mentally or physically. Anyone who puts their hands on you and continues to apologize about it doesn't mean that they're going to do it again. They're just telling you what they need to tell you so that you'll stay, because now that they have released that energy on you, they feel better and you don't, and you keep getting hurt more and more every time. You deserve better than that. You don't deserve for anyone, like I said, to belittle you, put you up under their thumb, make you feel small. You do not deserve that. You don't deserve abuse, mentally or physically. You are stronger than you think you are.
Right.
You do not stay there. You don't deserve to be in a place to where someone wants to belittle you or keep you under their thumb. That's not you. You don't deserve that. So
you don't deserve it. And if you are some Tank fans, that song that he wrote, Maybe I Deserve It, that's a lie. Shout out to Tank though, we love you, but that song, no, nobody deserves that.
Yeah.
Nobody deserves that. Okay, so we done talked about a lot, man. We done talked about a lot. And I always ask this question to all of my guests because I want to see where your mindset is. It's called on a personal note, right?
Okay, on a personal note.
What would your now self tell your younger self about something that we talked about today? Mental health. We talked about being vulnerable with your self-love. We talked about mindset. We talked about a lot. What would now King tell young King?
Based off our conversation now? To keep pouring into yourself. To keep pouring into yourself. It don't matter if the cup is overflowing. Keep pouring into yourself because you deserve to keep growing. No matter what, it's not about no matter what age that you grow to in life, like you always need to be a student of life. There's always something for you to learn. You can never learn enough. There's always room for you to grow and be better mentally. And which will better help your vision on how you see things and better help how you speak things into existence. So keep pouring into yourself.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. King, it has been a pleasure as always. I thank you for coming to kick it with me again.
No problem.
Listen, I would love to have you back because I'm getting ready to do some panels for the newest season. I'll give you enough time in advance and stuff like that. And we usually record the panel discussions around like in the afternoon on Sundays or something like that. when
Okay.
everybody's like settled or whatever. I don't know if you're a football fan, but we're gonna make sure that there ain't no games on your team. Who is your team?
I got 2 teams. I got 2.
Who your team?
Okay. I'm gonna name my home team right now. It's the Rams.
Okay.
And then the away team is Green Bay.
Oh,
Hey, okay. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
well,
Now I know. There we go.
there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Nah, all right. I ain't got to say nothing bad about you. Okay. Yes. Any closing words that you would like to leave the listeners before we get on off here today?
Absolutely. To the listeners out there, I want you to understand this. Live your life every day with just being empty, like emptying out everything that you have, your gifts, your mindset, in the most positive way.
Mm-hmm.
Don't always put everything off until tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
We know tomorrow is not a guaranteed thing. So focus on today, worry about the moment, like just win today, and be thankful for your tomorrows. What you doing?
I'm right. Just win today. Man, that's a whole word, man.
That's it.
Just put that on the shirt and send me a size small.
I got you. I got you.
Like, for real. Like, people will buy that. I know, just win today. Like, you might not have enough energy to be even thinking about tomorrow. Yesterday may have been bad and you don't want to go back to that. So just win today, moment by moment.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I love it, man. Listen, that's don't forget about me. Like, when you make that on the shirt now, don't forget. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard me ask for that shirt. So we're gonna hold him to that. But you guys have been listening to another episode of Kicking It with KeKe, life, love, and all that other shit. I am here with a new episode every Thursday. So y'all come on, make sure y'all tap in, man. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Leave me some ratings or some reviews. I love the comments because you guys help me become better. So until next time, if the bumps in the road are not there to slow us down enough to make us understand and enjoy the journey, then life will go by unfulfilled. It will go by just like that. And we miss out on the little things that help us appreciate the bigger things when we receive those. So just remember that. Keep going. And as King Walker said, have that attitude of gratitude, and your mentality determines your reality. So you guys have a great day. Later.